Have you ever met someone who just thinks differently? They pick up things fast. They notice what others completely miss. Their mind never seems to rest. That's not luck. It's psychology. These are the signs of gifted people, not just people with high IQs or perfect grades, but people whose minds and emotions work on another level entirely. They see patterns in chaos. They find meaning in moments other people overlook. And sometimes they even feel like they don't belong anywhere because the world moves slower than their thoughts. Let's break down what really goes on inside the mind of a gifted person, because it's not just intelligence. It's a whole different way of being. 1. Their brains are wired differently. Gifted people's brains don't just work faster, they work deeper. Where most people connect dots A to B, they're already at Z, linking it to another concept no one even thought about. They don't just think outside the box. They think as if the box never existed in the first place. Their neural pathways are more interconnected, which means when one idea sparks, it sets off a chain reaction of a dozen others. That's why they can be so creative, curious, and sometimes even restless. They crave meaning. They can't just accept something at face value. A sunset isn't just beautiful. It's a metaphor. A conversation isn't just small talk. It's data, emotion, psychology, and story all unfolding at once. And that's why gifted people are often drawn to big questions about existence, purpose, and humanity. They think multidimensionally. They can hold contradictory ideas and still see truth in both. But that depth, it's a blessing and a burden, because the more deeply you see the world, the harder it is to live lightly in it. 2. They feel everything. More intensely, gifted minds come with gifted emotions. When they feel joy, it's almost electric, contagious even. But when they feel sadness or anger, it runs deep. Psychologists call this emotional intensity or overexcitability, the tendency to experience emotions more vividly than the average person. It's like living with your emotional volume always turned up. Music moves them. Movies stay with them for days. A kind word can make their whole week, but harsh criticism? It can cut 10 times deeper than it would for others. This emotional depth gives them empathy. They don't just understand people, they feel them. They can sense someone's mood before they say a word, but it also makes life heavier. They notice pain others overlook. They carry other people's emotions as if they were their own, and sometimes that intensity can feel isolating, because how do you explain to someone that your feelings have layers within layers? Still, this emotional richness is part of what makes gifted people extraordinary. It's the reason they create, write, design, heal, and inspire, because they feel so deeply that they must express it somehow. 3. They question everything. Gifted people are naturally curious. It's not rebellion, it's reflection. They can't stand shallow explanations, because that's just how it isn't good enough. They want to know why people behave the way they do, why systems exist the way they do, why the world chooses comfort over truth. This endless questioning often starts early. As children, they might have frustrated teachers or parents with their constant, "but why?" As adults, they do the same. Only now, their questions are about life, society, purpose, and identity. To others, this can look like defiance or overthinking. But for the gifted mind, it's the path to understanding. Their curiosity doesn't stop at knowledge. It extends to emotion, art, spirituality, and even morality. They're the kind of people who don't just read a book, they read between the lines. Every idea is a doorway, every question a universe, and it's this endless quest for truth that keeps their minds alive and sometimes exhausted. 4. They battle perfectionism. Perfectionism is almost a side effect of giftedness because their mind sees so much, the details, the flaws, the possibilities. They struggle to stop improving. They hold themselves to impossible standards. When they start a project, it's not enough for it to be good. It has to be the best version that could ever exist. But here's the paradox. That same drive that pushes them to excellence can also lead to burnout. They may rewrite, overthink, or abandon their work entirely because it doesn't meet the vision in their head. Gifted people often live in a tug-of-war between creativity and self-criticism. Their imagination builds, but their perfectionism destroys, and when they fall short of their own expectations, they can be brutal with themselves, more than anyone else ever could be. But when they learn to channel that perfectionism into progress instead of punishment, they become unstoppable, because their standard of excellence isn't about showing off. It's about honoring the potential they know they have. 5. They often feel misunderstood. This is one of the hardest parts of being gifted. They can feel like outsiders, even in rooms full of people. It's not that they don't want to connect. They crave connection deeply, but most conversations feel too surface level for their minds. They want to talk about ideas, meaning, and purpose, while everyone else is talking about trends or gossip. It's a strange kind of loneliness, being surrounded by people, but still feeling unseen. They think differently, process faster, feel deeper, and because of that, they sometimes get labeled as intense, difficult, or aloof, but in truth, they just want to be understood on the wavelength they live on, one of thought, emotion, and honesty. When gifted people meet someone who finally gets them, the connection is instant. It's like breathing easier, like finally speaking a language they've always known, but rarely get to use. 6. Their minds never stop. Gifted individuals don't have an off switch. Their brains are constantly active, analyzing, imagining, planning, reflecting. Even when they try to relax, their mind is running background processes, replaying conversations, refining ideas, or dreaming about future projects. This mental hyperactivity is both exhilarating and exhausting. They might wake up at 3 a.m. with a sudden idea, or zone out during small talk because their mind just took a detour into a creative rabbit hole. It's not arrogance, it's wiring. Their brain needs stimulation. That's why many gifted people thrive when they're learning or creating, and struggle when life feels repetitive or meaningless. But the downside is overstimulation. Their thoughts can spiral. They can overanalyze interactions, imagine worst-case scenarios, and carry mental noise that never fades. Learning to manage that constant stream through mindfulness, writing, art, or nature can turn the chaos into brilliance. Because the same mind that overwhelms them is also the source of their greatest strength. 7. They're driven by meaning, not status. For many gifted people, external rewards like money or recognition don't motivate them nearly as much as purpose. They want their work to matter. They want to make something real, something that changes how people think or feel. They'd rather spend years perfecting something meaningful than chasing empty applause. That's why many gifted individuals feel unfulfilled in routine jobs or shallow relationships. They crave depth, challenge, and truth. They're not chasing success. They're chasing significance, and that's what makes them both powerful and vulnerable, because when they care with everything they have. Being gifted isn't about grades, trophies, or test scores. It's about how you feel, how you think, how deeply you see the world. It's a gift, but it's also a weight. It means seeing beauty and pain more vividly than most. It means feeling joy that burns bright and sorrow that cuts deep. It means never being satisfied with easy answers because your soul craves understanding. But if this video spoke to you, maybe that says something about how your mind works. 2. Maybe you're one of those people who's always been told you think too much or feel too deeply. If so, that's not a flaw. That's your strength, because the world needs minds like yours, minds that question, that feel, that create, that care. So if you love learning the hidden psychology behind unique minds, hit subscribe, because on this channel we don't just analyze people, we understand them. We explore what makes us different, what makes us brilliant, and what makes us human. And if you've ever felt like your mind is a little louder, faster, or deeper than everyone else's, welcome. You're not strange, you're gifted, and the world needs exactly what you see.